to get set up, I think I'm going to try to have the chat on my laptop over there while I have the live stream on my phone right here.
Look, spider, spider, spider.
Yes, I know. The spider lives there. It's fine, bub.
You might get bite, I think.
Why don't you guys drop a comment below and tell me what city you're in or what county? Hmm. Okay, I think I can just join the live to see the chat. I can't like actually like host on 2 computers. Okay, let's see. Hi, Chris from Seminole County, Zone 10A. All right, I'm in Melbourne, if you guys don't know. I'm Zone 10A also. So I wanted to, Dunedin, I wish I knew how to pronounce that. Dunedin. So today I wanted to get some seeds started specifically for a lot of tomatoes and peppers. Mason.
Why?
We talked about this. You can't be loud on the camera, okay? Mason's with me today. I hope you guys don't mind. We're going to start seeds for tomatoes and peppers and a couple herbs. Come over here on this side.
I like tomatoes.
So are you guys set up? Let me know if you're set up to do seed starting right now as well, or if you're just kind of watching and getting an idea of what you might want to do. I like to think about it when I'm planning my garden. I like to think about it in terms of first the really big crops and what's going on the big trellises. And so this year I really want to go heavy on the tomatoes because I really want to try to make my homemade tomato sauces and like ketchups and barbecue sauces and stuff like that. And so I'm going to take my whole long raised bed over there. It's 21 feet long. I'm going to fill it with tomato plants, and they're going to be indeterminate tomato plants. I'm probably going to do about 14 plants in there. It's 21 feet long. So I think what's tricky about it to me is trying to do a trellis for indeterminate tomatoes that actually really supports the tomato plants. I've done circular tomato circular tomato cages, you know, the cones, and I don't think I'm ever going to use them again unless it's something like a pepper plant. But I certainly won't use them for tomatoes anymore. I just don't think it's supportive enough. So what I plan to do over in that raised bed is build a DIY trellis that's, I don't know the name of it. I think it's something like a Freyer trellis or like a string trellis. I'm going to do like EMT conduit poles vertically and then a long horizontal. I think I may need because it's 21 feet long, I might end up needing like 4 or 5 vertical supports to do this. And then I'll have one long or multiple coupled together EMT conduit bars on the top. And then from there, I'm going to hang some string, and I'm going to prune each tomato plant in a way that I only have one single leader going up, and I'll be able to keep them supported and keep them like nicely pruned and the airflow right and everything. I think that's what I really want to do this year or this season. And July is the perfect time to start tomato seeds. I'm doing a cover crop right now in the beds, so the soil is being prepped at the same time as my seeds being started in a seed tray indoors. You could start them outdoors right now if you wanted to. You're just a little bit more susceptible to, environmental issues outside, like heavy rains. Your seedlings might suffer from heavy rains, or I've been having like spider mites all over my herbs and stuff lately, so that's something that would be more common outside versus inside. So I am going to start some seeds, and this is the seed starting mix that I bought. I picked it up. I've never seen this one before. It's a Fox Farm one, Light Warrior seed starter. But I've also in the past used, in the past I have had really good luck with the Miracle Grow seed starting potting mix like this. This one is nice because it stays like it doesn't, it's not hydrophobic. It has a wetting agent, I've learned, although it's really hard to actually get a full list of ingredients on some of these. But this one has a wetting agent in it, which I only found out by Googling it. And so it stays nice and moist. Mason, stop. This one is another one that I've tried, the Jiffy Seed Starting Mix. This one works well too. There's a lot of peat moss in it, and cocoa coir and vermiculite. And I've noticed that you really have to get this one wet before you start putting it in seed cells, or else it just like really struggles. It's hydrophobic at the beginning. It really struggles to absorb that water. Okay, go get a chair, bub. No, get one without the armrests. Because you're not going to be able to climb in and out. I rearranged my furniture for this live, trying to get the lighting right and everything. I have to keep the camera out of the sun, or else I only have like, in our hot Florida sun, if I'm trying to stream with, the sun beating down on the phone, it'll only last like 10 minutes. No, you can do it, bub. You're strong. So I'm just going to dump out this seed starting mix into this little tray. Can you guys, is that chair like super loud for you guys? It's nice actually, I can see the chat over here. All your supplies ready to go. Okay, so I've got this is one bag of seed starting mix, the Light Warrior. It's really lightweight. Look at how light and fluffy that is. The first thing, Mason, it's too loud. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
Right, I almost got dirt in my mouth.
No more moving the chair. Okay, so I'm going to pre-moisten it. I've got my watering can full of water. You could use a hose also. I'm really just using a watering can because I think I make a bigger mess with a hose. So is anybody else out there going ham on tomato planting this fall? I feel like my tomatoes really did not do well this spring. I think I started them a little late because of the frost and everything going on. Some of my winter tomatoes died when I wasn't really expecting them to die. So I started late, and then it just got hot so fast. It was like we had a really short spring season for our warm season crops, unfortunately. And then, once it gets too hot for tomatoes, they just struggle to produce. And then they get all kinds of diseases and stuff. Oh, good. Tiffany, you might have to send me your favorite recipe for the sauce, because right now I just looked at my Okay. Right now I just looked at my book for ball preservation or whatever. It's the Ball Mason jar brand for preservation, and I just was getting an idea of what I need to plant, right? So I think I'm going to start a lot of sauce tomatoes, and I'm going to start some basil, and I already have oregano, so I don't think I'm going to start oregano today, but lots of basil and parsley. And then I'm also going to do a lot of cucumbers, but I'm going to direct sow those in probably first week of September. And I'm going to start the dill today to give the dill a head start, because if you've ever made pickles, you know you need a lot of dill for the pickles. So I went ahead and labeled these so that I could be a little bit more prepared on camera. I put, oh nice, you just planted your San Marzano. Nice. So I went ahead and labeled them with a label maker on the side. I'm gonna do Juliet. Here's the varieties I'm doing. And I'd love to know what varieties you're doing as well. I did a little bit of research trying to figure out what people have, what varieties really are highly productive here. I'm trying to make sure that I get enough tomatoes for sauce. So I did a Granadero. It's a hybrid tomato that I got from Johnny's Seed. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I think I'm going to start 8 Granaderos, and that's going to be my primary sauce tomato. I also am going to try.
Can I help?
No, you can do your own, bub. You want me to give you a? Why don't I give you a seed, some soil, okay? And you can do your soil blocking, okay?
Yeah. I want to film a video.
So I did Johnny's Seeds.
Can I film a video?
You're on it already. Just come over here, bub. Yeah, so I was reading around on like Facebook groups and YouTube comments and stuff, trying to get a feel for like what varieties would be really highly productive for sauce. Granadero was one and Juliet was one, but I think from the description on Johnny Seeds, it looks like Granadero might be more so than Juliet, or maybe a better ratio of like flesh to juice. So I went with, I think I'm going to do 8 Granaderos and 2 Juliet, so I can try the Juliet too. But, you know, just, I think Granadero is going to be better. Okay, you can play with your soil blockers, okay? And then I'm also going to do a slicer. The slicer tomato is Celebrity Plus. I've done a Celebrity before, but Celebrity Plus is a hybrid that's very similar and supposed to be even more productive. So we'll see how that goes. And I also got Super Sweet 100 seeds. I've heard Super Sweet 100 is highly, highly productive. I had really good success with the Sun Gold cherry tomato in the spring. It was my like biggest producer out of any tomato plants I had in the spring. But I just thought I would try Super Sweet 100 instead in the fall. Have you guys tried Super Sweet 100? Alvaro. Where'd you get, oh, Celebrity Plus, good. Where'd you get the Alvaro seeds? I'm curious. Is it a hybrid?
Mommy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start 2 Super Sweet 100 plants today, but I might regret doing 2. Maybe all I need is 1. I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta try it and see what happens. I do. Lately I've been eating a lot of cherry tomatoes for like lunch. I'll pop them in the oven with like some basil and olive oil, salt and pepper, and oregano. And it's so good if you just put that on top of like toasted sourdough with ricotta cheese. Or the other day I actually did it with feta. So I roasted the cherry tomatoes with feta cheese too, and basil and olive oil. And it was so good. I was just sitting there eating it. Probably ate way too much of it.
Mommy.
Okay. No, you can go get it out of the hose. If you want more water, get it out of the hose. I mean the faucet.
You mean the sink?
Really, see, I've heard a lot about Celebrity Plus too, and I'm curious about it. Let's see.
Mommy, can you turn the sink on?
You can climb up there and turn it on.
I can?
Yep.
I can do whatever I want?
Well, not whatever you want. He said, I can do whatever I want? Within reason. So back to the trellis conversation and how I plan my garden. Definitely going to do a DIY tomato trellis, the string trellis, and I'll make a video about how to make the string trellis. And then I also have arches on the other side. I have 3 metal arches. I had them spread out in my garden this past spring, and I did cucumbers on them. I plan to do cucumbers again because I loved making pickles, and we love to eat fresh cucumbers. and I think they'll go nicely with the tomatoes if I ever want to have like a cucumber and tomato salad or something. And so I plan to put lots of cucumber plants. I'm going to direct sow the seeds. I got a Monica variety again from Baker Creek. I think one of my subscribers, her name was Melody, she had recommended the Monica cucumber like before I planted it the first time. And oh my gosh, it was the most productive cucumber plant I've ever done. Okay, pour it out if it's too much. And so I really want to focus the garden on productive plants. And in my opinion, if you had a productive plant, don't fix what's not broken. So I'm going to plant the same variety. I might do 2 different rounds though to give myself a little more space for the pickling process. Last time I had 9 plants of cucumbers, and I mean, I had to go and buy more mason jars because I didn't have enough mason jars to make all the pickles that I wanted. And so this year I think I'm going to double that and do 18 plants of cucumbers. But what I'm going to do is do 9 in the first week of September, and then I'll do 9 more like the 3rd or 4th week of September to spread that out. Oh, Paramount seeds. I've never tried Paramount seeds. Yes, Everglades. So Everglades tomatoes, you only need to buy them once, and you'll have them forever. I planted them one time, and I still get volunteers everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I'm not even kidding. It's like I'll see them pop up in between the paver cracks over by my trash cans, or I just pulled one out of my palm tree trunk. They're crazy. But the thing about it is it depends if you like to eat that variety, whether you want to like grow it or not. Because they're very small. They're a currant size tomato. It's like half the size of a grape tomato or cherry tomato. Very small, but they are sweet and tasty. I think they're only really, okay, they're really only good for like garden snacks. I wouldn't want to do much other than garden snacks with them. Oh, is Jera having a tomato seed sale? That's perfect. Go check out Jera's seeds. I actually have some parsley from her that I'm going to plant today. Right now I'm just making sure, sometimes when I fill up these cells, it's like it looks full, but then there's like air pockets and the soil's not touching the bottom. There's like a big hole. And I don't like to have that because I'm going to be bottom watering, and you have to make sure that the soil is going to make contact with that bottom when you water it from the bottom. So I always check the sides to make sure there's no big air pockets, and I always check the bottom to make sure that the soil came all the way down to the bottom. And there's a lot of perlite in here, perlite in the mix, so I'm not worried about compacting the soil. So Everglade tomato seeds, honestly, you guys can chime in if you know where to buy them right now. I know 2 years ago I got them from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and yesterday I went to Rockledge Gardens, the local nursery around here, and they actually had Everglades tomato starts for sale. What?
There's no water on the top of the toilet when it's not working.
Okay, just use a different one. I'll fix it after this. Okay.
But I already used it.
Okay, I'll fix it later then, bub. Okay.
Yeah, later the pee will disappear.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then you can do it later.
I don't know if you guys can hear him. He's like,
I
Mom,
hope
the
it will be fixed
toilet
later.
There's no more water in the toilet.
Why isn't there any more water in there?
Yeah, so if you guys, one of the most common questions I get is where to buy seeds. And to be honest, I buy from a variety of places. Some of the most common places that I buy from are Botanical Interests and Jera's Garden. Jera's in Orlando. And I do Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and I also do Survival Garden Seeds on Amazon. Sometimes I'm skeptical of buying seeds on Amazon, but I I've done enough of survival garden seeds that I'm not skeptical about them. There's also other ones that are common, like Seed the Stars on Etsy. I think that's David the Good's daughter's company or something.
What do you do with these
And
white things?
then there's the Urban Harvest LLC in Tampa.
These white things? Mommy, what does those white things do?
It helps make the hole for the seed, bub. Why don't you try it?
Do we have to take these out to make the squares? I want to make squares.
So, yeah.
Make squares.
Okay, make the squares, bub. The soil's right there.
How am I going to make the squares?
You just do this. If you guys have a toddler, I should recommend the soil blocking tools. They just love to play with them. There, bub. Try it. You can try it yourself.
Now I can make my seeds.
Yeah.
What's that baby seed?
Oh, these. So we're also going to do peppers today. I'm going to do, there's 2 peppers that have consistently been like really high yielding for me. And that's banana peppers and Anaheim peppers. So I'm definitely starting Anaheim today. I have 1 banana pepper already growing, so I don't think I'm going to start banana. Shishitos, I'm going to do 2 plants because they're so good. If you just cook a shishito pepper in like olive oil, garlic, and salt, it's just so good. Yes?
I made all of my salt. Oh, where's my seeds? I need seeds.
Hi, Martha from Sebring.
I need seeds. I need seeds.
Okay, bub, I'll get you seeds in a second. What?
I want every kind of pepper and tomato and the thing you said.
Okay, let me get Mason some pepper seeds. This is
I want a tomato seed.
This is a good reason
Mommy,
not to get rid of seeds.
Mommy.
Like if they're old, don't get rid of them.
Yes.
Use them for Mason. So,
I just need
okay, I'll get you some seeds, bub.
tomatoes. One. I want tomatoes.
Here, how about you do some jalapenos and bell peppers?
Okay.
Can you open that up?
Yeah.
This is actually how I've been storing my seeds lately. I used to use those photo boxes and all those little like 4x5 or what is it, 4x6 photo cases that are on the inside of it. But I just had like way too many, and by the time you divide it up into like what crop it is, I ended up having 5 of those boxes for all the vegetables, herbs, and flowers that I wanted. And then before I knew it, it was taking up an entire lower cabinet in my house. And I'm like, this is ridiculous for seed packets to take up an entire lower cabinet. So I just changed my approach and just decided to use that box from the Greenstock Berry Cups because it's a perfect size. Yeah, okay, you can open it up.
I don't know how.
A lot of herbs are really, I'm reading Tiffany's question from the chat. She's asking about tips and tricks for herbs, starting herbs from seed. Some herbs are really difficult to start from seed. One of them, or at least very slow. An example would be thyme or oregano. I think oregano takes like 21 days, or thyme takes 21 days to germinate. And during that time, you have to keep that soil moist on the top. It's just very hard, honestly. And sometimes it's not even worth it because you're going to baby that plant for like 2 whole months before it's like the size that you would buy at a nursery. And so I've done it successfully, but it's not always worth it to start them from seed, in my opinion. Some of them are easier, like basil comes up really easily. Honestly, you can also propagate basil. I have basil in the garden right now, and I could also propagate it. I'm going to go with seed starting just because. So the other trellises that I have in the garden and the other big crops that I want to do are The peppers, I have to like dedicate space in the garden for peppers because they're big and they're heavy feeders. And yeah, good job, bub. They're big and they're heavy feeders. And so that's something that I use to like, they're like the big ones that I have to plan the space for in the garden, right? So I have to plan the space for tomatoes, cucumbers, yard-long beans, and peppers. So I'm going to use the rectangular cages. I bought them from Home Depot. They're the Vigoro collapsible, like.
These two are trash now.
Okay, just make a trash pile, bub. And it's a rectangular, like collapsible trellis. I'm going to use that for all of my peppers. I used them in the spring and they worked really well. Much better than, I'm telling you, you guys, those round tomato cages are like just not my thing. I can't find a way to make them work very well. And they're difficult to store too. And so I'm going to do one raised bed with, or there's two smaller raised beds over there that are new. I'm going to put my pepper plants in there. And then the cucumbers will be on the arch trellis.
Can you give me one of those carrot things?
Here.
That's mine.
Yep.
So I can plant carrots too.
Yeah. That helps make the hole for the seeds. So.
And I can make a sown.
The two smaller raised beds are going to be full of peppers as the primary crop. The arches are going to have cucumbers.
Wow, so
over here I'm going to have that big string trellis full of tomato plants. And I think wherever I can find space, I'm going to make teepee trellises again for yard-long beans. So I grew Orient Wonder yard-long beans. The seeds were from Botanical Interest in the spring. And they were so productive and so.
Mommy, are these different kind ones?
It's a different pepper. It's still a pepper. And they were very productive and very tasty. But I did have issues with the plant having diseases, and I went through the process of getting them diagnosed from UF-IFAS to make sure that I knew what the real issue was with the plant. And it came back. The results showed it was Fusarium root rot, which is a fungus in the soil, and then it was Phomopsis leaf spot, which is another fungus, but it's on the foliage. So what I'm going to do is plant the same variety because it was so good and it was really productive even in the middle of having those diseases. But I'm going to put it in a different raised bed because Fusarium's a soil-borne fungus. So I'm going to rotate it and make sure I can try to prevent it from happening again.
Can I put them all in the same spot?
Yes, if you want.
I'm putting all of them in the same spot. Mommy, I only have 2 left.
Have you guys grown yard-long beans? Yard-long beans are like, we can get them, like you could plant them now-ish, you could plant them August. They love the heat and they're very productive. I might plant them. I have 2 long raised beds where I put seeds for cover crop right now, sun hemp. And they're just now starting to germinate a little bit. I just did this like 4 days ago. And I'm going to find space on I have 2 raised beds that don't currently have a cover crop growing in them. And I think that's where I'm going to put yard-long beans now-ish on a teepee trellis. And then I'll have to succession sow some different yard-long beans or pole beans when we get into late September or October. If you guys have a favorite variety of pole beans or yard-long beans, please let me know.
I'm using them all. Wait, it's using them all.
I think I have.
Using them all is a good idea.
I'm about to order the Orient Wonders again, and then I have, I think it's a Blue Lake or Kentucky Wonder pole bean. I have those seeds too. Oh yeah. Where'd you find the seeds for Puerto Rican black beans? I heard those are extremely prolific too, and you only really need 1 plant to get like a big harvest, and it'll be a big plant. But I haven't found seeds for them.
Mommy, you found seeds.
Okay, looks like we got all of my little cells full of soil. Now I have to do something with my hands. Yes, you can grow bush beans in the fall. So I think generally, as a general approach in fall, we are going to start with our warm season crops. Warm season is going to be eggplant, peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, bush beans, pole beans, yard-long beans,
Well, that's long.
and even some melons if you want to try those in the fall too. And then probably 1 or 2 months after that is when we're going to start our cool season stuff. So all of your brassicas, like your cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, your kale, stuff like that. Kale, I guess, can be started in the warm season too. It's kind of like more accepting of a wide variety of temperatures than some other ones, but like a really cool season lettuce, I wouldn't start until October or November. Or, I mean, I wouldn't put it outside until October or November. You could start it in a seed tray a month before if you wanted to.
Mommy, look, I used it all of them.
Oh.
Mommy, I used it all of these seeds.
Mm-hmm. So one thing about bush beans, though, is I personally think that it's so much more productive to use pole beans instead of bush beans. I know you can plant bush beans pretty dense, and I would recommend doing that to try to get the most production. And they do, of course, have the benefit of not needing support. You don't need a trellis for bush beans, but I've done pole beans and yard-long beans on a teepee trellis that was made from 8-foot bamboo stakes. And I just picked up the 8-foot bamboo stakes from my local nursery for like, I think they were $2.99 a piece.
You still have more of these?
Yeah, but I don't know where they are, bub.
And
so I think it's far more productive to do a teepee trellis with like 7 8-foot bamboo stakes and pole beans than it is to take up all that space with the bush beans. But it depends on your setup. I could see it being different for somebody who has a whole lot of land. They're not worried about taking up space. You know, somebody like me, I'm in, you know, an HOA in the suburbs and on a small lot, and I'm just trying to make the most of what I can, and so I a lot of times need to go vertical. All right, so these are the Celebrity Plus.
Mommy, where should I make
So a 1/4 inch deep. Yeah, these are
Mommy, I found all my...
a 1/4 inch deep. I'm gonna do 4 Celebrity Plus tomato plants. I'm gonna put 2 seeds in each hole, and then I'll thin it whenever they pop up. They're hybrid seeds are very expensive, so you don't have to do 2. A different approach could be just doing 1 seed, and then if it doesn't pop up, put another seed in there.
This one's mine, thank you.
No, bub. Nope.
No, I need it.
Mm-mm.
I need it.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna put my other seeds in it.
Okay.
I
All right,
need...
Celebrity Plus.
Mommy, I need...
No, you can only have 1.
I just need 2.
2 is all you get. Just no, not the big one. Do the little one.
Yes, I need 2 big ones.
Okay. No, those are tomatoes. I want to do tomatoes. Take that one.
Thank you. Mommy, is there anything in this one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be the tomato granadero. Yeah, so this is like, I think I paid like $5 for this pack of seeds from Johnny's Seed, and it says minimum 15 seeds. Hybrids are super expensive.
Mommy.
What?
Is there anything in this small one?
Nope, you can plant it.
Yep. Empty. more seeds. I need more seeds.
Okay, Bob. Just a minute. Here, you can take this one. Do you guys feel like you got a good handle on your seed starting supplies? I think at the beginning when you're first starting to garden, sometimes you end up unsure which products to buy and stuff. But there's so many out there. I just saw the Epic Gardening ones like at Rockledge Gardens yesterday. I have Vego Garden and Greenstock ones.
It has something to look at. It's those ones. I really need some of them.
I don't think it's too early to plant seeds for fall if you're in Texas 9B. I mean, I'm in 10A, Melbourne, and I'm starting now but the thing is, I'm not starting my cool weather crops right now. I'm starting the warm ones. So I'm starting tomatoes, peppers, basil, and I'm buying seeds for the beans and the cucumbers. The beans and cucumbers will be direct sown into the garden, so I don't have to go through this process. But the cool weather crops, all the brassicas, I'm going to start, probably wait 1 more month to start those. And that way it'll be ready to go in the garden more like October for me.
Mommy.
But there's a
What do you want me to pick?
the carrot. There's a little bit of variation too with how long you want to keep something in a seed starting cell or tray.
The carrot is wrong.
Mhm.
The back one is wrong.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the carrot is yours.
Okay. So I have, usually I think I start them, because I'm doing the cover crop, I think I'm technically gonna transplant these tomatoes into the garden like the 3rd week of September. So that means I'm keeping these in my seed starting tray longer than like 6 weeks that the seed packet normally would say. And tomatoes are pretty forgiving of that. If you get like your tomatoes start too big, when it comes time to transplant it, all you're gonna do is dig a deeper hole and plant it deeper and put that soil all the way up to the bottom leaf. And you can trim off that bottom leaf. They're very forgiving of being big when you transplant.
There's too many of these. So you can't use all of them.
All right, Super Sweet 100. Started. Do you guys put vermiculite on top of your seed starting trays? I have recently been doing that for 2 reasons. The first reason is because it keeps that top layer of soil really moist, and that's going to help with germination, because if you let that top layer of soil dry out, then the seed's not getting what it needs to germinate, so it's not going to germinate well. But also, when I put seed starting trays indoors, inevitably I get some fungus gnat issues. And I think vermiculite on top, a nice layer of vermiculite on top, helps prevent the gnats from being able to do that. They can't, lay their eggs in the soil if there's a layer of vermiculite on top. Every now and then I go through these cycles where I have to use those yellow sticky things on anything indoors, and then I start watering with BT in it to kill off any of the larvae. Okay, now we're going to do some peppers. I've got Jimmy Nardello and Poblano right here. I grew Jimmy Nardello in spring, and I harvested and ate exactly 1 pepper before it was just obvious the plant had root knot nematodes, and that's why I stopped it and started doing cover crop. So I'm going to try again after the cover crop and see if we can get some better Jimmy Nardello harvests and really get a better assessment of whether I like that pepper or not. I hear a lot of people online rave about that variety, but I never hear anybody from Florida say it, so I'm not sure that it's going to be similarly productive here. Oh wow, the Everglades tomatoes survived that frost. Those Everglades tomatoes are indestructible.
Mommy, if I cover the seeds up, they will grow.
Yes, you're right.
So I have to cover
They'll
them.
grow. I have 3 kids, and Mason is the one that's the most into gardening. He's always out here with me, always begging to harvest or start some seeds.
I'm ready to grow up, and when I grow up, I will be a gardener.
Yeah, when you grow up, you'll be a gardener.
The gardeners are cool.
The poblanos, I'm going to plant poblanos too. Let me know if you guys have done poblano peppers in Florida. I want to do something like a chile relleno or some kind of interesting dish where I'm stuffing the poblano peppers. So far, I have never grown a poblano pepper plant to harvest. I did grow it, and then it was like something happened. It was time to pull the plant. Trying again. I've noticed that it seems like there's pepper people and there's tomato people. Let's take a poll. Drop a comment in the chat to tell me if you're a tomato person or a pepper person, or if you're the rare both.
Mommy, I'm using this.
Do you guys have any like questions? I think planning. Some people are. I think planning can feel overwhelming when you're planting a garden. A lot of times, I get questions about, well, just how to plant it in general and how to make sure you're not planting the wrong crop next to the wrong crop. You know, like companion planting type issues. And so I'm curious if you guys have questions about that. I personally have come to the conclusion after a few years of doing this. I've done the whole stick to the rules about companion planting thing, and I've had what I think was a perfectly organized garden that perfectly satisfied all the companion planting rules. And I mean, they still got some bugs and they still got some diseases, and I just think that maybe we can relax about the companion planting rules and just do something more generic and make it a good rule of thumb to plant a nice herb near your main crops and plant some other like different style crops near it. So for example, next to tomatoes, I would plant a carrot because it's a root veggie and not a tomato next to like a pepper because they're both big fruiting crops, you know? And then I think if you think about what you're going to use for cooking, generally that does pass the test for companion planting anyway. So dill next to cucumber, basil next to tomatoes, oregano next to tomatoes. Tomatoes. I knew there were some tomato fans out there. And a pepper fan, Jimmy Nardello. Did you eat the Jimmy Nardellos raw?
Mommy.
I tried one raw, but it was, I mean, the plant was not doing well, so I don't think it was a really good representation of the plant. So dill is, if you've ever grown dill is another crop that will probably come up on its own, and I'm probably seed starting it when I don't really need to, but I'm going to do it anyway. But what I've noticed about dill is it has this really long taproot. It almost looks like a daikon radish at the bottom when you plant it and when you pull it out of the garden. So when you're seed starting dill, like in a cellar tray like this, make sure it's deep enough. Some of those like 72 cell big long trays, they're really shallow. They're only like 2 inches. I think dill wants that extra depth. You could also direct sow dill. I'm starting them on purpose in a seed starting cell because, first of all, the garden is occupied with a cover crop, and I want the dill to be in a good, state of growth before I plant the cucumbers, because the cucumbers will grow so much faster than the dill. So if I want dill harvested from the garden at the same time as harvesting cucumbers for pickles, you got to start the dill earlier. Oh, you fry the Jimmy Nardellos like shishitos? I gotta try that. Shishito peppers, I could eat like a pound of them by myself. If you guys are local to Melbourne or Rockledge area, I am doing another seminar at Rockledge Gardens in August. I think it's like around the Sunday in August, around like I forget the number day, maybe it's the 20th or 21st. I think that one will be really fun. I did a how to start a vegetable garden in Florida seminar back in June, and I had so much fun. Everybody in the audience, I think, was into it and asking questions, and so it made for a really cool seminar. Everyone was just talking, asking questions, and sharing what was going on in their garden, and it was really fun. And we had all different experience levels. Some people were brand new, they never started their garden ever, and then some other people, you could tell they had quite a bit of experience under their belt. So keep an eye out. I'll definitely share about that. Ooh, leggy seedlings. So leggy seedlings, it's well, I guess I would like to ask more questions like about your setup, because I've gotten leggy seedlings in the past when I had just it was a crappy grow light. It was one that I got from Amazon, and it was not strong enough. And so I was growing all kinds of things under this grow light, but it just wasn't enough light, even if I put it like right next to the seedling. And so to prevent leggy seedlings, it absolutely needs more sun, but sometimes if you put them in the sun right now, this time of year, it's like too intense and too hot outside for the seedlings. And so what I do is usually like at this stage, I'm going to lower my, okay. When the seedlings are just freshly planted, they first pop up with their tiny new leaves, I'll have the grow light really low. It's going to be like only a couple inches off of the top. And then as the plant moves, I'll move it up. That combined with having a strong enough light will prevent leggy seedlings. And also, even if sometimes when you go really low, you have to be careful on a tray set up like this, because if you have one of those narrow grow lights like this, and it's only in the center, you'll have nice seedlings in the center and leggy ones on the side because they're trying to reach that light. So put it just low enough where it looks like it's actually hitting all of the tray. And some of them, like a leggy tomato seedling, is not that bad because you can fix a leggy tomato seedling by planting it deeper. Tomatoes are the one unique crop that you can do that way because it grows roots all along the stem. So I wouldn't worry about it if it's tomatoes. I've definitely worried about it when it's like something like a brassica, like a broccoli. And pickling cucumbers. I see someone asking for a suggestion about pickling cucumbers. You have to get the Monica cucumber. It's called Monika. And I bought it from Baker Creek. I just ordered more of them. I think I might have an old pack in here. But it's a parthenocarpic variety. Another one that I think would be worth trying is called Beet Alpha, BEIT space alpha. They're both parthenocarpic, which means they're like self-pollinating, and every flower is a female flower, basically. So you don't have like unproductive flowers, if you will, on the plant. And you just get such high yields. This is the Monica cucumber. And yeah, I think one other thing about Monica is that it works for both slicing and pickling, but there's a whole lot of spikes all over the cucumber, but I think that's a good thing because it keeps the pickle worms off. But when it comes to slicing the cucumber, I've noticed that like my kids don't want to eat it unless I peel it.
Even I don't like to eat it when you peel it. I don't like cucumbers.
Yes, you do.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't like to eat
He
them.
says he doesn't like cucumbers. He's changing his story. Okay, so what type of grow light is good?
Mommy, I don't like to eat them.
There's a brand on, let me look up the brand. I forget the name of the brand. I have two different grow lights that I really like. One of them is from Vego Garden. I have the whole like grow rack set up with their really long, the big grow light. That one works really well, but Barina is the brand on Amazon. Barina is pretty reasonably priced, and you can get like some really nice grow lights on there. Let me drop in a link to a video that I did on a grow light setup in my own house, and we talk about all the different, or I talk about all the different setups that you could do. I had like a DIY baker's rack setup with 2 different Barina grow lights on each shelf, and it worked really well. And I'll share all the details about like the kelvins that you need, the wattage that you need for a certain space.
Mommy.
Okay.
Mommy, I need different kind of soy.
I'll drop a link to this video. I mean, it's kind of a boring video, but
Mommy, I want a different.
sometimes my videos are a little
I don't want those.
boring.
Want
So I just dropped in the video for the grow rack.
Mommy, I don't want those cucumbers.
Okay, yes, Barina. Barina's generally a good choice.
Oh, can I take a different seed?
Yep, let me get you. How about this? How about you do the sun gold tomatoes? Yeah.
Sun gold tomatoes?
Yes, sun gold tomatoes. Those are really good. You can plant those. Are any of you guys doing soil blocking for seed starting? I've never done it, but I have the equipment. I just have been waiting for the right time. I'm worried that the soil is going to dry out too much. I'll try it soon. For now, Mason likes to play with it. But I got these 2 different soil blockers. And the idea is that this really small one will start 16 different plants in a really tiny little square. And then eventually, when they get a little bit bigger, you'll up pot them into a larger square like this. And it's really intended for people who have like limited space and they want to grow like the maximum amount of plants.
Where's the black seed?
I don't know that it's really necessary for like my setup when I'm like, doing like 16 tomato plants.
Mommy, is there anything in this? Because I don't hear anything.
Oh, maybe it's empty.
And someone closed it back, so it's empty.
So when it comes to planting the garden, I want to mention something else that I think about. And that is like how I figure out what I'm going to plant around it and when I do the interplanting type planting.
It's full.
Okay, it's full. So generally you have your big crops And let's do a few examples. The tomatoes, like I said, I'll have on a string trellis, and then there's going to be a lot of space on the bottom of the bed. I'm going to do basil, oregano, and carrots. I think that I love to eat carrots, and I think carrots would be a nice addition to some of the tomato sauces as well. And my family eats a lot of carrots, and also the basil and the oregano are going to be needed. Yeah, the basil and oregano are also going to be used in the sauces. And when it comes to a carrot variety, I've learned that I love a Nance variety, Nantes, Scarlet Nance, or there's other different. It doesn't have to be a Scarlet Nance. There's different types.
Mommy, it isn't. It's not a. But the seeds are so small.
But a Nance type carrot, it's very sweet. It's great for fresh eating or juicing, and there's no core or almost no core in the center. If you've ever eaten a Kuroda style carrot, Kuroda, um, those are, I think, native to Asia, and so they're very heat tolerant. But there's this core in the center that's really tough, and sometimes I just didn't even want to eat it because of that core. So I'm going to do Nance style carrots, and I'm going to succession sow them so that I can have fresh carrots every few weeks. And last fall, I had a lot of trouble getting my carrots to germinate in the fall planting season. It was much easier in the spring, and I think that's because this time of year, or like in 2 months or so when I do it, there's still going to be so much heat, and the water is going to evaporate out of that top layer of the soil, and it's going to be very hard to keep the carrot seeds moist enough to germinate. Carrots take, I think, quite a few days to germinate, so they have to have constant moisture during that time period, or they're not going to germinate.
Thank you.
Last year, I finally succeeded when I did the cornstarch slurry method, which was kind of fun. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it's kind of fun. You like mix up a mixture of like water and cornstarch over heat on the stove, and then you let it cool, and it turns into like a gel consistency, and you can put it in a Ziploc bag with some seeds, and then you mix it all up, and then you'll just like pipe it into the soil, and then that jelly consistency helps like coat the seeds and keep them moist and prevent them from drying out. So I'm definitely going to do that again to help with the germination in the fall.
These seeds are so tiny.
And when it comes to planting around other trellises, I'm going to do the TP trellis again with the yard-long beans. And there's always space on the inside underneath that TP trellis, because if you think about it, it's going like this. And if it's 8 feet tall, I mean, you could have quite a bit of space. In the past, I've done peppers and eggplants underneath there, and they worked well, but it did seem like they were reaching out and trying to get more sun. So I might do something different and put plants like cilantro in there and lettuce underneath, because those are the ones that probably would enjoy that shade a little bit more, especially cilantro in the heat. Like we have to plant it in a shady spot until about, December or so. It'll just bolt if we don't.
There's no more of these. There's none of these.
Okay, but I'll give you some more seeds.
Some more.
And then around or under an arch, you can also take advantage of that shade if you'd like and do something similar. Herbs are a good choice, or lettuces are a good choice. The root veggies, I think, need full sun. So the carrots, I'd imagine when I've got tomatoes on a string trellis, there's going to be plenty of sun for the carrots, especially as I trim those lower leaves of the tomato plant.
No.
So I wouldn't put my carrots underneath the TP trellis, and I wouldn't put my carrots underneath the arch.
No.
And I wouldn't put beets there either, or radishes. I think they need a lot more light.
Where's the same one?
Okay, you want the pepper? Or you want okra?
I want the same one.
And onions this year. I bought some onion seeds from Jera's garden. I got the Texas 1015 yellow.
No. Yes,
It's the best variety for this
one.
area,
I want this
for
one.
sure. No, those are precious.
Hey, move.
Here, take the banana pepper, bub.
No.
Listen. Hey, okay, take the peas. Take the peas. Okay?
Beets?
Peas. Sugar snap peas. Yeah, growing in the south-facing sun is nice. It's a little gentler. And I've noticed, like, if we're talking about all the way through the next few months of planting, there's a lot of planting going on. And last year I did my strawberries. I planted them in October, and I did them in my driveway in morning sun, and they were amazing. I think morning sun has big advantages. My house faces like southeast, so it had morning sun in the front. But I think just because I can't have I'm in an HOA, I don't want to have all these edibles in the front yard. I need to keep them in the back this year. But I'm still going to do the same setup with the green stalk for the strawberries. If you haven't ordered your strawberries, order your strawberries. I just placed my order from Ison's Nursery for Chandler Starts. I just placed an order last week with them. And they should arrive in September or October, and then I'll plant right away when I get them. And then when it comes to bulbing onions, I'm going to start the bulbing onion seeds, I think in August, because they're going to take like probably 8 weeks to get to a good size, and I plan to plant them out in October. But one thing I'm going to do differently with the onions this year. Last year I did interplanting in my beds with onions, and I think that's really difficult to do when it's a long-term crop like onions. Onions in Florida, we plant them out in the garden in about October, and then we're not harvesting them until maybe late March or April. That's a long time to work around that crop in the garden, and for the first half of that planting, they're not bulbing, so they're very small, and it just becomes difficult to mulch around, difficult to add granular fertilizer around it. And so I prefer to put it somewhere else and do like a separate container of bulbing onions. This year I got some self-watering elevated beds, and I'm going to grow them specifically, fill them with bulbing onions. Yeah, I grow in the backyard too, in an HOA. So I think, what other questions do you guys have? I think I've pretty much started my seeds. Oh, I guess I could put my vermiculite on top.
No.
This is, I just got this vermiculite from Home Depot or Lowe's. It's the Vigoro brand. It's very lightweight. And all I'm going to do is put it on top, and it'll keep that top layer nice and moist, and I think it prevents the fungus gnats. As far as a humidity dome, I think I have humidity domes. I could put a humidity dome on it, but I just don't think we need it. We're in humid Florida.
I'm going to use them all.
I don't know what's going to happen with the seed starting cell that Mason's working on. It's got peppers and sugar snap peas and all kinds of stuff in it. I'm going to do sugar snap peas again, but I would love to know if you guys have a good variety of sugar snap peas. I think that the ones I've grown in the past were just like a generic labeled sugar snap pea, and they weren't anything special. I did notice when I added like a pea and bean booster inoculant, I did notice some better production out of the plant, but I just don't think they were like the most flavorful sugar snap pea. I'm curious if you guys have one that you love.
Mommy, this orange thing is so hard. How is it so hard?
Mason's over there destroying his seed starting cell.
No?
Oh, he got mad.
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're not destroying it. You're doing a great job.
I'm using
So, I think YouTube lives are fun. I think it's a nice way to have like an unscripted video, and then with the chat, I get like back and forth. I think it's fun. And I think I want to do it maybe on like a monthly rhythm. We can talk about what to plant for the month. I used to do a what to plant video for every month of the year, and I think YouTube doesn't like it. I think it's like too repetitive for YouTube, and they flag it and stuff, and then they won't even show it to people. So I think I need to change my strategy and stop doing that video, but maybe a live what to plant would be nice.
The police.
Yeah, I hear a siren. Yep. So I think I'm going to shoot for what to plant monthly videos that are live streams, and maybe we'll do a little bit of direct sowing and transplanting in that video every month. And I'll be sure to kind of schedule it. Maybe I'll go ahead and schedule next month's and have it listed like I did this one where you have like the thumbnail and it says upcoming, and you can have like a notification setting on. And then I think it's going to be interesting to see the cover crop growing. I'm going to do another video about terminating the cover crop and showing the growth of it, but I'll share along the way in like maybe YouTube Shorts and on my Instagram. But as far as a long form, I'm going to wait until the cover crop is totally done to do another long form. I wanted to ask you guys about flowers. So if you guys have my planting guide, I don't know if you guys have bought it or not, but there are some flowers that we can plant in fall as well. And normally when the temperature starts to drop, I do a lot of like petunias, and I'm excited for more petunias, but I think that maybe seed starting is not what I want to do for some of them, because have you guys seen the pictures and videos of people planting supertunias, like the big bubblegum pink supertunias? It's a like proprietary hybrid from proven winners, I think, and so you can't buy seeds for it, but they're just extremely highly productive, like so many blooms, and they're so big. And so I want to grow some of those this year. Maybe not pink, because I don't think that pink is just not maybe my color choice. I would prefer like a red or a purple. But I think I'm going to buy starts of supertunias. Let me know if you guys have a supertunia variety you love. Sweet alyssum is always good to me. I might do snapdragons in the like late fall. Oh, do you propagate? Oh, that's a good idea. Instead of buying seeds, you propagate the bubblegum petunias. That's a really good idea. I have so many spots. Like there's this tree ring over there where I could fill it with a whole lot of flowers, or I could do it in my front yard now too. And verbena is always really pretty to me too. And I grew, no. I grew viola in a pot. Oh my gosh, it was the most pretty thing. But I only got like a couple blooms, and then I went on vacation and I couldn't keep it watered, so it died. I'm going to try viola again, maybe outside this time in the late fall. All right, what do you think, Mason? You ready to wrap it up? You guys ready to wrap it up, or do you have any other questions? I think this was fun. I like doing lives. It feels a little bit more like back and forth, and I like that aspect about it. So I think good luck in your seed starting. Watch out for some future videos from me about terminating cover crops and starting my cool season crops in about a month or so, like the brassicas and broccolis and all that. And thanks for joining in, guys, and I'll see you next time. I think I have to walk all the way over there to turn it off.